Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome finally to the Let's Max episode where we're going to be taking a look at one of the most hotly anticipated weapons to come out in a very long time. It was originally teased a really long time ago. We are of course taking a look at the 10-0 shotgun, the Corinth. You're able to buy the blueprint straight from the market. It's really not very expensive at all. 219 is pretty much only the only thing that might be slightly annoying, but since the weapon comes with a mastery rank requirement of 10, in all honesty, most people are going to have that and be able to build it without blinking, so that's definitely a plus. Once it's built, you get a dual feature pump action shotgun, and that boasts 540 damage per shot on the primary fire. That's split between the 6 pellets that it does fire. Most of the damage comes as puncture with almost equal amounts of slash and impact. The total damage is only sort of on top of the middle in terms of comparing the raw damage of all the shotguns. However, it's the supporting stat, so it really starts to shine. The highest critical chance of any of the shotguns, 30%, really shows where it's going to be in terms of modding the weapon, especially with a huge 280% critical damage multiplier as well. None of the shotguns come close to that damage multiplier, and the only one that comes close in terms of crit chance is the Vacor Heck with only 25%. The fact that it's so heavily into crit means it's also perfect to put hunter munitions on there for the chance to proc slash when you crit, and that further increases the power of the Corinth. That kind of makes up for the rather pathetic 12% status chance, which is absolutely nowhere near worth modding for. The secondary fire, however, is a completely different kettle of fish. When you fire that other shot, it will launch an airburst grenade that will travel 20 meters before exploding with an 8 meter radius. This deals 504 damage on the explosion. The vast majority of that is going to be in blast and a bit of impact. A direct impact with that grenade will not explode, but it will deal significantly less impact damage. The main thing here is that the stats are completely flipped. 4% critical chance and a 1.6 times multiplier is absolutely not worth modding for crit. However, 28% status chance works nicely to be modded for, and can really help to proc some status when the shot explodes, and that can be worth sticking some dual stats on if you want to. The explosion does actually have self-damage as well, although to be honest, unless you're on an Arcwing, you're really going to find it very hard to be able to kill yourself with it. The Corinth does have some notable downsides, however. The fire rate of just 1.17 is super low, and it can feel like you really need to put some fire rate on there, especially at lower level, where the damage loss is, let's say it's less felt, but the fire rate becomes way more important. The reload of 2.3 seconds can also feel rather slow as well, especially since it's really the initial part of the reload that's the problem, where you break open the weapon to load the first shell. In an extended firefight, that can really feel very slow, especially if you only want to load one round in to finish off a low health enemy like you do on maybe something like the Strun Wraith. The grenade can also be kind of unwieldy as well, especially in the tight confines of some of the more corridor-like tile sets, because you don't have that 20 meters to be able to get the grenade launched and for it to explode, and that can seriously limit its usage, which is a shame because that grenade is fantastic. In terms of how I went about modding the Corinth, I really wanted to focus on that primary fire, higher crit and tie damage with a bit of quality of life really. Comes with 2V polarity straight out of the box. I added 4 former to it, and that brings it to a total of 5 Vs and a dash. In those slots I've got Prime Point Blank, Hell's Chamber, I've got Blunderbuss for crit chance, Prime Ravage for crit damage, Hunter Munitions for slash procs whenever I crit, and then I went with Viral to work in the form, to work with that slash basically, and that's in the form of Chilling Reload and Contagious Spread. Because you only really need Viral to proc once, it works okay with weapons with less than amazing status chance, especially if you're able to put that explosion from the grenade to work as well, and that can do the Viral procking for you, before you close the gap and then killing them with a million slash procs. The Chilling Reload also helps shorten that opening animation before loading the first shot into the weapon, and can make things feel so much more usable. The final slot really though is a personal preference one. I went with Laser Sight personally in the end for salty level enemies. It loses a little bit of fire rate for more regular slash procs and then better scaling, especially since the Corinth is actually pretty accurate. Hitting headshots is not really that hard at all. The other one that I run is more for star chart related stuff, and that is using shotgun spaz in there instead for fire rate, and that's going to kill lower level enemies quicker. And because you don't really need all that massive additional damage, it just makes the whole thing feel so much nicer and so much more usable. There's a couple of other mods you could really use to tailor the weapon to your personal preference. Shrapnel shot for more crit damage when you get a kill, vigilante armaments for more multi-shot, or even Seeking Fury on there for the punch through, as well as a little bit more additional reload speed. Strong weapons like this really allow you to customize your build to your personal preference without affecting the potential of the weapon too much, and the Corinth really is no exception to that rule. So what do I think of the Corinth? Do I think it's worth the format? And the answer is pretty simple. Hell yes. Max it the second you get it, because it is absolutely amazing. It is top tier for sure, and well worth sticking all the former into. For a start, before we even look at performance, just look at it. Damn, this thing is pretty. It's big, it's beefy, and it just looks fantastic. And then after you finish looking at it, fire it. Just once, and tell me you are not immediately hooked. The sound, I mean, it's like a lion stubbing its toe. It quite frankly, one of the best sounding weapons in the game, if not the best. I love it. We have two amazing things here. We have looks, check, sound, check, and the final thing is performance. Well, let's let it speak for itself. Look at the footage now. It just shreds these higher level enemies. Just demolishes everything. And even if you take viral against the infested, even in a sortie where you would think the additional health combined with the damage reduction from being viral would be a problem, but it just isn't. The Corinth can be thrown way out of its comfort zone and still come out on top. It is just incredible. In terms of taking it further, it's for some reason got a 3 out of 5 Riven disposition, so you can get some really nice numbers. Obviously, crit chance, crit damage, raw damage, or multi-shot are going to be the ones to look for. Now, normally on shotguns you want increased flight speed, because that helps with the damage fall-off that shotguns have got built in. Don't do that with the Corinth. You will cause problems with that grenade. Increasing the flight speed means that the grenade actually travels further before exploding, and that actually makes it almost unusable in anything but the planes. It's also worth noting though that the opposite also does work. Less flight speed actually brings the grenade explosion closer to you, and if you're not careful you might end up blowing yourself up with the self-damage, so that is definitely something to keep an eye on. But the Corinth is a contender for one of the top weapons in the game by far. I've used almost nothing else since it came out. It has been almost solidly used on my streams recently. Just in awe of what this thing pulls off. Looks, sound, performance, all in one amazing package. You can't go wrong with the Corinth. If you love your shotguns, you will absolutely love this. So I hope you like my look at the Corinth. Now I finally got around to it. This week is going to be Barrow week, going back and looking and updating all of my Barrow videos, the weapon ones, so you've got the most up-to-date info when his Barrow ship comes each time. I hope you're looking forward to those. Many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.